Have you ever prayed with all your heart, believing God would answer, and yet everything still fell apart? The sickness came. The job you depended on was gone. The betrayal from someone you trusted cut deeper than you could bear. And in that moment, maybe you asked the same question. So many of us have whispered in the dark, if God is good, why does he let bad things happen? This isn't just your question. It's a question as old as humanity itself, and even the greatest men and women in the Bible wrestled with it. The story of Job. Let's start with Job. The Bible describes him as blameless, upright, a man who feared God. And yet, in a single day, Job lost everything. His wealth, his children, even his health. Imagine that, waking up one morning with everything in place, and by nightfall, your entire world collapsing. His friends blamed him. You must have sinned. His wife said, curse God and die. And Job himself sat in ashes, scraping his wounds, asking the question we all ask, why, God, why me? Job's story reminds us of something difficult, but true. Suffering was never part of God's original plan. Why bad things exist? When God created the world, it was perfect. No pain, no disease, no betrayal, no death. Humanity walked with God in the garden, fully whole and fully loved. But then came sin. Adam and Eve chose disobedience, and with that choice came brokenness. Same cracked creation, and ever since, the world has been marked by suffering. We live in a world where diseases exist, people make sinful choices that hurt others, natural disasters strike, and the consequences of a fallen world touch us all. It's not that God created suffering. It's that suffering is the result of humanity's separation from him. But here's the hope. God never wastes pain. God works through the broken. Romans 8:28 tells us, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. Notice it doesn't say all things are good. Cancer is not good. Betrayal is not good. Losing a child is not good. But God is so powerful that he can take what is broken and use it for good. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly accused and imprisoned. If anyone had a right to ask, where are you, God? It was Joseph. And yet years later, standing before the very brothers who tried to destroy him, Joseph declared, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Genesis 52:20. Joseph's pain became the very thing God used to save nations. Jesus understands suffering, and here's something even deeper. God himself knows what suffering feels like. Jesus was mocked, beaten, betrayed by his closest friends, and nailed to a cross for sins he never committed. The Son of God, perfect and sinless, suffered more than any of us ever will. But why? Because through his suffering, we found salvation. God doesn't just allow pain, he redeems it, he transforms it. He turns the darkest Friday into Resurrection Sunday. What do we do when life feels unfair? That's the question, right? Because it's one thing to know why suffering exists, but it's another to survive it. So, what do we do? 1. Be honest with God. Job cried out. David wept in the Psalms. Even Jesus prayed, my God, why have you forsaken me? Matthew 27:46. God can handle your questions. He isn't offended by your tears or doubts. Real faith isn't pretending you're fine, it's bringing your brokenness to him. 2. Hold on to his promises. Isaiah 41:10 says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. When life shakes you, his hand holds you. 3. Trust that there is purpose. Maybe you can't see it now, but your pain has a purpose. Just like Joseph's betrayal positioned him for leadership, and just like Jesus' cross became our salvation, God can take your suffering and birth something greater from it. 4. Let pain shape you, not break you. Suffering either makes us bitter or better. It either pushes us away from God or draws us closer. And the difference is in whether we surrender or resist. Modern-day examples. Let me bring this closer to home. I once met a woman who lost her husband to cancer. She told me, I don't understand why, but I know God has used this season to give me compassion I never had before. Now she runs a support group for widows. A man I know was laid off after 20 years at his job. At first, he was crushed, but losing that job pushed him to finally pursue the calling God had placed in his heart. Today, he leads a nonprofit that feeds hundreds of families. Even in my own life, the hardest seasons, the ones I prayed would end, are the very seasons that grew me the most. Looking back, I wouldn't trade them, because they shaped me into who I am today. Jesus redeems every tear. Revelation 21:4 promises us, he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. This is the hope of eternity. Every unanswered question, every heartbreak, every loss, we may not see the full picture now. But one day, God Himself will make it all right. Maybe this is you today. Maybe you're like Job, sitting in ashes, wondering if life will ever be good again. Maybe you're like Joseph, feeling trapped in a pit you didn't choose. Or maybe you're like Jesus' disciples on Friday night, staring at a cross, unable to imagine resurrection morning. If that's you, hold on. This isn't the end of your story. God is working in ways you cannot see. He hasn't abandoned you. He hasn't forgotten you. And if you're struggling today, here's my encouragement. Cry out to Him. Lean on His promises. Trust that He can bring beauty out of ashes. Call to action. If this message spoke to your heart, I want you to do two things. Leave a comment, share your story, your struggle, or even a testimony of how God has turned pain into purpose in your life. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs. Subscribe, join this community where we explore faith in a real, honest way. You're not alone in this journey, because here's the truth. God doesn't just forgive, He restores. He doesn't just see your pain, He transforms it. And your comeback story starts right here, right now, with Him.